I didn't sleep the night before Derek's sentencing. I'd spent 4 weeks writing my victim impact statement, revising it, practicing it in front of the mirror with my one good eye.
Hey there, listeners. This is Talks from the Net. I really appreciate the kindness you all showed to me by sticking till this far. Please drop a like and subscribe to Talks from the Net.
Dr. Kim had helped me refine it. Say what you need to say, she told me. This is your moment, don't hold back. So I didn't. The statement was 47 pages long, single-spaced, every detail of what had been done to me, every loss, every trauma, every moment of pain. I had copies for the judge, the prosecution, the defense, and the media. Because I wanted everyone to know exactly what Derek Matthews and my family had taken from me. The media presence was even bigger than during the trial. National news, local news, true crime podcasts, YouTubers. Everyone wanted to see Derek Matthews sentenced. I arrived early with David and Marcus. Sarah was there too with her parents and victim advocate. We'd coordinated. She would give her statement first, then me. 2 victims, 2 statements, maximum impact. As I walked into the courthouse, I saw Derek's supporters gathered outside. Maybe 30 people, family, friends, church members, people holding signs. Derek is innocent. Justice for Derek. False ACCUSATONS, destroy FAMILIES. I stopped, looked at them. One woman, someone I didn't recognize, screamed at me, "You liar, you destroyed a good man." Security moved me along. But I'd seen what I needed to see. Even after the guilty verdict, even after all the evidence, Derek still had people who believed in him. Because he'd spent his entire life being perfect, golden, untouchable. One conviction couldn't erase 35 years of that narrative. But today would help. The courtroom was packed. Every seat filled, standing room only, media in the back with cameras. Derek was led in wearing an orange jumpsuit, hands cuffed. He looked thinner, hollow. Prison was already changing him. His family sat directly behind him, Uncle James, Aunt Claire, Ashley, who'd been coming to every hearing despite everything, still in shock, my parents, my grandmother, various cousins and relatives. All there to support Derek. None of them looked at me. I sat on the prosecution's side with Sarah, our lawyers, and a few supporters I'd made through victim advocacy groups during this nightmare. The judge, Judge Patricia Reeves, a stern woman in her 60s with no patience for bullshit, entered. Everyone stood. Be seated. We're here today for sentencing in the matter of the people versus Derek Matthews. Mr. Matthews has been convicted of sexual assault in the first degree, evidence tampering, and filing a false police report. Before I impose sentence, I'll hear victim impact statements. Ms. Chen, you may proceed. Sarah stood, walked to the microphone. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was clear. Your Honor, my name is Sarah Chen. On April 15th, Derek Matthews essayed me in a parking lot. He held me down. He covered my mouth when I tried to scream. He violated me in the worst way imaginable. And then he ran, leaving me bleeding and terrified on the ground. That attack destroyed my sense of safety. For months, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't leave my apartment alone. I couldn't let anyone touch me, not even my own parents. I had panic attacks multiple times a day. I lost my job because I couldn't function. I lost friends who didn't know how to handle my trauma. But Derek didn't just attack me. He weaponized my trauma. He used my assault as a tool to frame an innocent man. He let Marcus Thompson go to jail, lose his eye, lose his entire life, because it was convenient for Derek. Because Derek is a coward who thought he could get away with it. I have to live with the guilt of identifying the wrong man. I have to live with knowing that my trauma was used to destroy someone else's life. That guilt is something I'll carry forever, even though I know intellectually that it's not my fault. Derek did this. Derek orchestrated all of it. Your Honor, Derek Matthews is a predator. He's done this before, we know that now. And if given the chance, he'll do it again. He feels no remorse. Even now, sitting there, he thinks he's the victim. He thinks his family will save him. Please don't let him hurt anyone else. Please give him the maximum sentence. Lock him away where he can't destroy any more lives. Thank you. She sat down. Her mother wrapped her arms around her. The courtroom was silent. Judge Reeves nodded at me. Mr. Thompson. I stood, walked to the microphone, looked directly at Derek, and I began. Your Honor, my name is Marcus Thompson. I am Derek Matthews's cousin, and he destroyed my entire life to avoid consequences for assaulting Sarah Chen. On April 17th, I woke up in my apartment to police breaking down my door. I was thrown to the ground, handcuffed, arrested for a crime I didn't commit. I was dragged outside in my bathrobe barefoot and handed over to a mob that beat me while police watched. That mob fractured my orbital bone and destroyed my right eye. I am permanently blind on my right side because of what happened that day. I spent a week in jail. In that week, I was assaulted twice by other inmates. I had panic attacks. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was in shock, unable to process what was happening. When I finally got access to a phone, I called my parents. They hung up on me. They told me I was no longer their son. They chose Derek over me without even hearing my side of the story. I was released after 2 weeks when my alibi was verified, but the damage was done. I lost my job, a job I'd worked at for 8 years. I lost my career. I've applied to 73 jobs since my release. I've gotten 4 interviews. All 4 ended when they Googled my name and found the articles about my arrest. I lost my apartment. I couldn't stay there after my neighbors admitted they beat me not out of justice, but out of jealousy. They posted about it on social media, bragging about what they did to me. I lost my savings, all $87,000, paying for private investigators, lawyers, experts, and medical bills. I'm now in debt. I lost my family, my parents, my uncle, my aunt, my grandmother, my cousins. All of them chose Derek, even after the evidence proved my innocence. Even after they admitted they suspected Derek was guilty. They chose him because, in their words, between you and Derek, the choice was obvious. I lost my eye. I lost my sense of safety. I lost my ability to trust people. I lost my belief in justice until Sarah and I fought for it together. But Your Honor, those are just the facts, the measurable losses. What Derek really took from me was something deeper. I paused, looked at my family. They were staring at me now, unable to look away. Derek took my humanity. I need this court to understand what it's like to be framed for SA. It's not just the arrest. It's not just the jail time. It's the way everyone looks at you afterward. Even after you're proven innocent, people still wonder. They still question. Where there's smoke, there's fire, they think. Maybe he did something. My name will forever be associated with sexual assault, even with wrongly accused in front of it. That's my Google legacy. That's what any future employer will see, any future partner, anyone I ever meet. Derek didn't just frame me for a crime. He attached a scarlet letter to me that I can never remove. And the pain of that, Your Honor, I've had suicidal thoughts every single day since my release. Every single day I wake up, look in the mirror at my dead eye, Google my name and see the articles, and I think, what's the point? My life is over anyway. The only thing that stops me is the knowledge that if I kill myself, Derek wins. My family wins. Everyone who destroyed me gets to say, see, he was troubled. Maybe he was guilty after all. So I stay alive out of spite. Not hope, not dreams, not love of life, spite. That's what Derek did to me. He turned me into someone who survives on spite. I could hear crying in the courtroom. Not from my family, from strangers, from Sarah, from the gallery. But my family sat stone-faced. I continued. I want this court to know that Derek planned this. He researched how to frame someone. He studied my routine. He dressed like me. He committed his essay near my apartment so the location would implicate me. He called in an anonymous tip with my name. This wasn't impulsive. This was calculated. And he did it knowing our family would protect him, because they'd done it before. 15 years ago, Derek sexually assaulted another woman. The family hired lawyers, made it go away, taught Derek that he could hurt people without consequences. So he did it again, and this time he dragged me into it. Your Honor, Derek Matthews is not a good man who made a mistake. He's a predator who got caught, and his family spent my entire life preparing me to be his scapegoat. I turned to look at my parents, my uncle, my aunt. I need to address my family now, because this isn't just about Derek. Mom, Dad, you told me when I was 3 years old that your life would be easier if I'd never been born. You spent my entire childhood making sure I knew I was a burden, a mistake, unwanted. You compared me to Derek my whole life, and made sure I knew I'd never measure up. And when Derek framed me, when I called you from jail begging for help, you hung up on me. You chose him without hesitation. And when I proved my innocence, when I showed you the evidence that Derek was guilty, you still chose him. You told me, between you and Derek, the choice was obvious because Derek has kids and you're alone. You used my loneliness you helped create by making me feel unworthy of love my entire life, as justification for throwing me away. I will never forgive you for that. Uncle James, Aunt Claire, you created Derek. You covered up his first sexual assault. You taught him that family would always protect him no matter what he did. You enabled an assaulter, and when he struck again, when he destroyed Sarah and me, you still protected him. You're sitting here today in this courtroom supporting a convicted assaulter, your son, not because you believe he's innocent, the evidence is overwhelming, but because you can't accept that your golden child is a monster. You created him, you enabled him, and you're as responsible for Sarah's essay and my destroyed life as he is. I'm suing you, both of you, for everything you have, and I'm going to win. Grandmother, you called me after Derek's conviction and asked me to show mercy, to think of the family, to let Derek see his children. Where was your mercy when I was beaten by a mob? Where was your mercy when I lost my eye? Where was your family loyalty when I was innocent and suffering? You only care about family when it's convenient, when it's Derek, when it's not me. I will never speak to any of you again. After today, you're all dead to me. The courtroom was completely silent. You could hear people breathing. My mother was crying, quiet, shaking sobs. My father's face was red. Uncle James was staring at his hands. Aunt Claire had her face buried in a tissue. But I wasn't done. I turned back to Derek. Derek, look at me. He didn't. Look at me. He looked up, his eyes were wet. You essayed Sarah Chen because you're a coward and a predator. You framed me because you were jealous of my success, and you knew the family would choose you over me. You destroyed 2 lives because it was convenient for you. You sat in that witness stand and lied. You looked the jury in the eye and pretended to be a victim. You made your wife lie for you. You put your own children through this nightmare because you were too selfish to accept responsibility. And even now, sitting there in your orange jumpsuit, you think you're the victim. You think this is unfair. You think I'm vindictive for pursuing justice. But here's what you don't understand. I don't care if you think I'm vindictive. I don't care if you think I'm bitter or jealous or cruel. You took my eye, you took my career, you took my family, not that they were ever really mine. You took my future, you took my ability to feel safe in the world. And you did it all because you couldn't face the consequences of your own actions. So no, Derek, I don't forgive you. I don't have mercy for you. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure everyone knows exactly what you are. An assaulter, a liar and a coward who destroyed his own cousin to save himself. I hope you spend the next 25 years in prison thinking about what you did. I hope you lose everything like I did. I hope your kids grow up knowing what their father really is. I hope Ashley finds happiness with someone who isn't a monster. I hope you live long enough to understand the full weight of what you've done. But mostly, I hope you suffer. Not because it will heal me, nothing will heal me, but because you deserve it. Your Honor, I'm asking for the maximum sentence, 25 years to life, no possibility of early parole, no leniency, no mercy. Derek Matthews is a danger to society. He's a repeat offender. He shows no remorse, and if given the opportunity, he will hurt someone else. Lock him away forever. Thank you. I walked back to my seat. The courtroom was in chaos, people crying, whispering, shocked. Sarah grabbed my hand and squeezed it. Thank you, she whispered. I nodded. I couldn't speak. Judge Reeves looked at Derek. Mr. Matthews, you have the right to address the court before sentencing. Do you wish to speak? Derek's lawyer whispered something to him. Derek stood up, shaking. Your Honor, I'm sorry. I made mistakes. I hurt people. I know that now. I was going through a difficult time. I'd lost my job. I was stressed. I wasn't thinking clearly. I never meant for any of this to happen. I love my family. I love my children. Please, please don't take me away from them. They need me. My wife needs me. I'll get help. I'll do therapy. Whatever you want. Just please, please give me a chance to make this right. He was crying, genuinely crying. But it was too late. Years too late. Judge Reeves' face was stone. Mr. Matthews, please remain standing. Derek stood. His lawyer stood next to him. The judge continued. I've presided over hundreds of cases in my career. I've seen a lot of terrible things. But this case is uniquely cruel. You didn't just essay Ms. Chen. You weaponized her trauma to destroy your own cousin, a man who done nothing to you except succeed in life. You framed him knowing your family would choose you. You planned it. You executed it. And when you were caught, you lied about it. You've shown no genuine remorse. Your statement just now was about you, your stress, your family, your needs. At no point did you take responsibility for what you did to Ms. Chen or Mr. Thompson. You are a danger to society. You've assaulted women before, and you'll do it again if given the chance. On the charge of sexual assault in the first degree, I sentence you to 25 years in state prison. On the charge of evidence tampering, I sentence you to 10 years, to run consecutively. On the charge of filing a false police report, I sentence you to 5 years, to run consecutively. Total sentence, 40 years in state prison. No possibility of parole for 30 years. You will be a registered sex offender for life upon release. Bailiff, remove the defendant. 40 years. Derek would be 75 years old before he could even apply for parole. His children would be grown. His wife would have moved on. His life was over. As they led him away, he looked back at his family. Dad, please do something, Dad. Uncle James just sat there, tears streaming down his face. There was nothing he could do. Derek was gone. I left through the front entrance instead of the side exit they'd offered me. I wanted to face the cameras, the reporters, the world. I wanted everyone to see my dead eye and hear my story. The reporters swarmed. Marcus, how do you feel about the sentence? Marcus, what's next for you? Marcus, will you reconcile with your family? I stopped at the microphone stand that had been set up. And I spoke. My name is Marcus Thompson. I was wrongfully accused of SA by my cousin, Derek Matthews, who has just been sentenced to 40 years in prison. This sentence doesn't give me back my eye. It doesn't give me back my career or my family or my future. But it means Derek Matthews will never hurt anyone else. And that matters. To everyone who supported me through this, thank you. To Sarah Chen, who fought for justice alongside me, thank you. To the jury who saw through Derek's lies, thank you. And to my family. I paused, looked directly at the camera. You chose an assaulter over your innocent son. You watched me suffer and did nothing. You begged for mercy for Derek but showed me none. I will never forgive you. I'm suing every single one of you and I'm going to win. You thought Derek was the golden child worth protecting. You thought I was disposable. You're about to learn exactly how wrong you were. This is the last time I'll ever speak about you publicly. After today, you're dead to me. You'll read about the lawsuits in the mail. I have nothing left to say to any of you. I walked away from the microphone. And then I heard my mother's voice. Marcus, please. I stopped, turned around. She was pushing through the crowd, my father behind her. Marcus, please, we're sorry. We made a mistake. Please don't do this. Don't sue us. Don't destroy what's left of this family. I laughed. That hollow, broken laugh. Don't destroy what's left of the family. Mom, there is no family. There never was. You made sure of that. We were wrong. We were scared. We didn't know what to do. You knew exactly what to do. You chose. You chose Derek. You told me to my face that between me and him, the choice was obvious. You don't get to take that back now that he's going to prison. My father stepped forward. Marcus, we're your parents. You can't just. I'm not your son. You made that clear. You disowned me. You hung up on me when I called from jail. You abandoned me when I needed you most. So no, I'm not your son. I'm the mistake you've been trying to erase for 34 years. Well, congratulations. You succeeded. I'm erased. And so are you. Marcus, the lawyers will be in touch. I walked away. My mother collapsed sobbing on the courthouse steps. My father stood there looking lost. And I felt nothing. The civil lawsuits moved faster than I expected. David and his team were ruthless. We sued. *1. My parents' for emotional distress, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and negligence for admitting they suspected Derek and did nothing. *2. Uncle James and Aunt Claire for the same, plus conspiracy for covering up Derek's previous assault. *3. The police department for allowing mob violence, failure to protect, and negligent arrest procedures. *4. My former employer for wrongful termination. *5. The neighbors who assaulted me for assault and battery, based on their own social media confessions. *6. Derek for everything. Assault, emotional distress, defamation, destruction of property, my life, loss of income, medical expenses. Most of them settled. My former employer settled for $850,000 plus a sealed reference letter. They didn't want the publicity of a trial where their discriminatory firing practices would be exposed. The neighbors, 6 of them total, settled individually for amounts ranging from $50,000 to $200,000 each, depending on their level of involvement and their ability to pay. Total, $680,000. The police department fought us, took it to trial. We won. Jury awarded me $2.3 million for allowing mob violence and negligent arrest procedures. The city is appealing, but David says we'll win the appeal too. My parents and Uncle James and Aunt Claire refused to settle. They wanted to fight it in court. Fine. I wanted to face them in court anyway. The trial against my parents and aunt and uncle was brutal. David put me on the stand. I testified about my childhood, about being told I ruined my mother's life, about saving Derek from drowning and being blamed, about every moment of scapegoating, comparison, and rejection. The jury looked horrified. We played the voicemails, my father saying, "You're not our son anymore." My mother asking me to drop charges against Derek. Uncle James begging me to say Derek was innocent. Grandmother saying Derek made a mistake. We showed the email where my mother admitted they suspected Derek might be guilty, but chose to protect him anyway. We documented every moment of their betrayal. My parents testified. They tried to paint themselves as loving parents who'd been caught in an impossible situation. David destroyed them on cross-examination. Mrs. Thompson, did you ever visit your son in jail? No, but... Did you accept his phone calls? No, but we thought. Did you help pay for his legal defense when he was accused? We couldn't afford. But you helped pay for Derek's defense after he was convicted. That's different. How is it different? Derek has children. And Marcus is your son. Why does Derek's family matter more than your own child? She had no answer. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. They awarded me $1.2 million from my parents' asterisk for intentional infliction of emotional distress and lifetime of psychological abuse. $1.8 million from Uncle James and Aunt Claire asterisk for the same, plus enabling Derek's pattern of violence. My parents' house was put up for sale to pay the judgment. Their retirement savings were seized. They'll be paying me for the rest of their lives. Uncle James and Aunt Claire filed for bankruptcy. But the judgment survives bankruptcy because it's based on willful and malicious conduct. They're destroyed financially, just like they destroyed me. Derek is in prison. He'll be there for at least 30 years. His wife Ashley divorced him 3 months after sentencing. She has full custody of the kids. She moved back to her home state with her parents. The kids are in therapy. Ashley sent me a letter apologizing for testifying for Derek. She genuinely hadn't known. I wrote back and told her I understood. She and the kids are victims too. My parents asterisk lost their house, their savings, and most of their friends. The community turned on them when the details of the trial came out. They're living in a small apartment, both working part-time to make ends meet. They tried to reach out to me twice. I had my lawyer send cease and desist letters. I meant what I said. They're dead to me. Uncle James and Aunt Claire asterisk are bankrupt. Uncle James had a heart attack from the stress. He survived, but he's not the same. Aunt Claire has become a recluse. They lost everything. Their golden child is in prison. Their extended family won't speak to them. They destroyed their lives protecting an assaulter. My grandmother died 4 months after the sentencing. Heart failure. I didn't go to the funeral. I sent flowers with a note. You chose Derek. You lost Marcus. I hope it was worth it. The neighbors who assaulted me asterisk were publicly shamed when their social media confessions went viral. 3 of them lost their jobs. 2 moved out of state. 1 issued a public apology which I ignored. Their names are permanently linked to the case now. Their Google searches will show they assaulted an innocent man out of jealousy. Sarah asterisk is healing. Slowly, she's back at work. She's in therapy. She started dating someone new, a good man who knows her story and supports her. She texts me sometimes. We have coffee every few weeks. We're bonded by trauma, but we're building something that looks like friendship. She told me recently, we survived. That counts for something. I'm not sure I agree, but I'm glad she's finding peace. I took the settlement money and moved across the country. New city, new state, new name legally changed. I'm not Marcus Thompson anymore. That man died in a jail cell. I'm someone else now, someone quieter, someone harder. I work freelance under my new name. I make enough to live. I see a therapist twice a week. I take medication for depression and PTSD. I haven't dated anyone. I can't imagine letting someone get close enough to hurt me again. I have exactly 2 friends. Sarah, who understands, and Marcus Chen, the pie who saved my life by finding the truth. I still have nightmares about the mob, about waking up in that cell, about my mother hanging up on me. I still have panic attacks when I see police. I still touch my dead eye sometimes and remember what they took from me. Exactly 1 year after Derek's sentencing, I did something I'd been avoiding. I went to visit him in prison. I don't know why, morbid curiosity, closure, spite. Maybe I needed to see him, caged, to really believe it was over. They brought him into the visitor's room. He looked terrible, thin, gray hair showing, lines in his face that hadn't been there a year ago. Prison had aged him a decade. He sat down across from me, picked up the phone. I picked up mine. We stared at each other through the glass. Finally, he spoke. "Why are you here?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "To gloat. Maybe." He laughed bitter. "Well, congratulations, you won. You destroyed everyone. Me, Mom and Dad, Uncle James, Aunt Claire, the whole family. Happy now." "No," I said. "I'm not happy. I'll never be happy again. You made sure of that." "I didn't mean." "Yes, you did. You planned it. You researched it. You executed it. You meant every bit of it." He looked down. "Why?" I asked. "Why me? Why frame me specifically?" He was quiet for a long time. "Because it was easy," he said finally. "Because you were already the black sheep. Because the family would believe it. Because you were convenient." "Convenient," I repeated. "Yeah, you were always the disposable one. Everyone knew it. I just used it. You destroyed my life because it was convenient. I destroyed my own life too." "No," I said. "You destroyed your life because you're an assaulter. You could have just not essayed anyone. That was always an option." I wasn't thinking clearly. "Bullshit, you Googled how to frame someone for a crime. You studied my routine. You bought a burner phone. You planned every detail. You were thinking very clearly." He didn't respond. "I came here to tell you something," I said. "Your kids are growing up without you. Ashley remarried to a good man. Your son calls him dad now. Your daughter doesn't remember you. They're happy. They're better off without you." His face crumpled. "Your parents lost everything. My parents lost everything. Aunt Claire had a nervous breakdown. Uncle James is a shell of who he was. The family imploded. Everyone lost everything because of what you did." "I know," he whispered. "And I'm glad. I'm glad you all suffered. I'm glad you all lost what mattered most to you. Because you took what mattered most to me, and turnabout is fair play." "You're a monster," he said. I laughed that hollow laugh. "No, Derek, I'm what you made me. You wanted to destroy me. Congratulations. You succeeded. The Marcus who existed before you framed him is dead. What's left is this. Someone who survives on spite and revenge and the satisfaction of watching you all suffer. That's not living." "No," I agreed. "It's not, but it's all I have now, and I'm taking it." I stood up. "This is the last time I'll ever see you. When you get out, if you get out, I'll be an old man, or dead. Either way, you'll never know what happened to me. You'll spend the rest of your life wondering if I found peace, if I moved on, if I forgave you." I leaned closer to the glass. "I won't. I'll never forgive you. I'll die hating you. And I hope that knowledge keeps you up at night for the next 30 years. I hung up the phone, walked out, and I never looked back. Op sitting in a new apartment, different city, looking out the window with his one good eye. People keep asking me, "Do you feel better now? Now that Derek is in prison and your family lost everything? Now that you got justice?" And I tell them the truth. No, I don't feel better. Justice didn't heal me. Revenge didn't heal me. Watching them all suffer didn't heal me. I'm still broken. I'm still traumatized. I'm still that man who woke up in a jail cell not knowing why. The difference is now they're broken too. And that's not the same as healing, but it's something. They took my eye, so I took their money. They took my family, so I took their stability. They took my future, so I took theirs. Is that justice? Is that revenge? Is there even a difference? I don't know anymore. What I know is this. I survived. I fought back. I made them pay. And if that makes me the villain in their story, fine. I was always the villain in their story anyway. At least now I'm a villain with $6.8 million, a new name, a fresh start, and the satisfaction of knowing they got exactly what they deserved. People say holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But here's what they don't tell you. Sometimes you're already poisoned. Sometimes the poison is all you have left. Sometimes survival means carrying that poison and using it as fuel, because the alternative is lying down and dying. And I refuse to give them that satisfaction. I'm 35 years old. I have one eye. I have PTSD. I have a new name and a new life built on the ashes of the old one. I have millions of dollars that will never buy back what I lost. I have a family that's dead to me and a cousin rotting in prison. I have scars inside and out that will never fade. And I have no idea if any of this was worth it. But I'm still here, still breathing, still fighting, still refusing to be the disposable one they always told me I was. They wanted me to be the black sheep, the scapegoat, the sacrifice, and they got what they wanted. But what they didn't expect was that the scapegoat would survive, would fight back, would burn down everything they held dear on his way out. This is how it ends. Not with forgiveness, not with reconciliation, not with healing, but with consequences, with justice, with the knowledge that everyone who destroyed me paid the price. My name was Marcus Thompson. I was framed for SA by my cousin. I lost my eye, my career, my family, and my life. I fought back, and I won. Not because winning made me whole, but because losing wasn't an option.